Oh my God, it was been a remarkable day of warmth here across Long Island. Now, in school, we missed the peak of the warmth as temperatures hit, allegedly, 69 degrees at our closest reporting station for weather in Farmingdale. That will be verified tomorrow at about 2:15 in the morning, so I'll see when I can post an update to that. As of right now, though, the temperature, according to the National Weather Service, is still holding at 62 degrees. Apple Weather is only saying it's 60 degrees, but they also only put the highest there at 63 degrees, so I'm not sure who to trust more. Because Apple Weather is a lot more hyper-local to your area, but the National Weather Service is like the official service according to your weather, and I don't think that there'll be a 7-degree difference across just a couple of miles. I know that can happen, but that's more so a South Shore thing, and it seems the winds on the water have actually kind of stopped today. It's a gloomy day, too. Now, I want you to learn something. Clouds in winter mean warmth. We are at the transition period where clouds are starting to actually mean it becomes slightly cooler, but usually when it's cloudy in the winter, that means that all the warmth is being held to the bottom. There was actually a big tornado outbreak plowing through the country, and while it's plowing through the country, it's actually pushing all the warmth here. There will be rain tomorrow, and we desperately need it because so far we've seen 1/20th of an inch of rain. So we could badly use this rain. Just to get a little bit of chem studying out of the way, according to Mr. Edelberg, water is one of the 3 things that you look for in order to confirm that there was a valid reaction for double replacement. Otherwise, it's gas or precipitate. But in any case, this is going to be a very warm rain. I will say that. It's going to be in the upper 50s when it rains. Temperatures will come plowing down. This is actually somewhat anomalous to what happened the third Friday of February of last year. It should somewhat remind you of that, in the sense that you have a storm and then crashing temperatures, but then the next day isn't actually too cold, and it still hits the 40s. So, while we will get some badly needed rain to kind of sponge up the ground a little bit, we are not getting any snow out of this. I mean, right now it just feels like April outside. When you factor in the clouds, plus the temperatures like earlier on, it really feels like a mix between April and May. Right now it feels more April-y than May, but there were points earlier in the day where I'm sure it felt like May. Islip at 71 degrees and Bridgeport at 68 tied their monthly record highs for February. In Islip, the record high was tied just last year. We also need to remind ourselves of the fact that Islip and Bridgeport both hit record highs for the month of November, literally 3 months ago on the 7th, when the temperatures skyrocketed to 79 in Bridgeport and 80 in Islip. We also have to realize that both of those areas, along with all the NWS New York measuring sites, saw record warmth in the month of January, their warmest January ever. Even Central Park managed to edge out 1932 by a margin of 0.3 degrees. And Central Park has not seen a record so significant since, 2020. So, we really just gotta see this climate change in action. And what I warn you on is that while this day might feel nice, and it is, it can't be nice forever. We could see some record warm lows, not really for the month, but maybe for the day we could see some record lows for warmth being set. Earlier on in the morning, it was kind of throughout the 50s. It's still going to be relatively warm tonight. It's going to be tomorrow where the temperature plunges back into the 20s. So today, it's going to actually be a mild night with some rain showers sprinkled in there. But tomorrow night, that is going to be where, we're beginning to see our our weather return back to somewhat normal for winter. But Right now, this winter has been very boring, though. All we've really been seeing are heat records. Maybe a couple scattered intense cold blasts when they happen, but then they quickly retreat. And so the winter that we get, it doesn't last. This is a problem on both December 24th and February 4th. On December 23rd, we saw temperatures in the upper 50s in the morning and then crashed down to the single digits at night. We actually did get a cold wave out of this, but there was no moisture, so there was nothing to kind of lock in. There was nothing, so even though there would have been snow, there was just nothing there to have snow. There were 3 days of sub-freezing highs before December 27th finally thawed out. The chilliest high in January was 38 degrees. Obviously no cold wave. And on the February 4th event, temperatures were still held at midnight at the start of February 3rd at 35 degrees. And they were in the 40s by February 5th. So it was only 1 day of the sub-freezing high. And even then, the high managed to climb to 27 degrees. This is unlike the February 2016 event where even though it was only the 1 day of the dramatic cold that quickly retreated, there was a 4-day cold wave in the makings of all that. Also, when it retreated, we saw snow, and this time when the cold retreated, there was no precipitation. So when will this hell of a winter end? Well, possibly early March. We could see a sudden stratospheric warming begin to train cold air down. The warm weather patterns I've been seeing will be shot down, kind of like what Chinese spy balloons have been getting recently. And we will eventually see cold air, and there's going to be moisture. It's going to be a cold and wet period. Early March can be very conducive for snow. I know that people say, oh, it's March, it's too warm to snow. They are so incredibly wrong. March can definitely see its share of giant snowstorms. March 2015 saw over 18 inches of snow in New York City. March 2017 also saw a lot of snow, about 9 inches worth. In 2018, we saw nearly a foot of snow in New York City and heavy amounts out on Long Island. 2018, even April saw 5.5 inches of snow in that 8 in April record. Let me tell you something. Back in 1875, on April 13th and 14th, New York City got dumped with 10 inches of snow. So there's definitely that potential for snow until at least mid-April. The latest ever measurable snow in New York City was on April 29th back in 1874. I doubt in our world of climate change we'll see snow anywhere near that late, but you never know. Now, hopefully this kind of weather actually drags on. The reason why is because, while gloomy weather might not be fun, and it's also just starting to rain, the good news about this is that if this persists into summer, it'll be a relatively cool summer. Last summer was one of the hottest on record in New York, mainly due to the fact that July had a high of 80 on every single day, and August became the third hottest on record. So, you know.